A Weighty Problem is the 5th episode of the 4th season of the Doris Day Show. This is directed by Bilson. And as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this one. There are things that I definitely enjoyed. There are things that I thought were not bad, but I didn't love them. And I also have a question about the pizza box. And this question is for anybody who maybe had seen this episode on broadcast, or anybody indeed who has any information about this at all. And I will discuss that now briefly before I go in with the rest of the episode. At one point we see this pizza box, and there is this black dot over what I assume is the logo of the pizza company. And this was definitely added in post. It looks very fuzzy and very cheap. It wouldn't surprise me if this was added later on, for example, for the DVD release. And I just really want to know why we couldn't see the logo on the pizza box. Because I assume if it was an issue with the logo during filming, they would have just covered it up or used a box without the logo. So what has happened between then and now that means we're not allowed to see the logo? I'm desperate to find out. So if anybody has any information, please let me know. The narrative involves Doris going to this spa to try and get an interview with the woman whose husband is about to be released from prison. And the husband went to prison, and the $2 million that he stole has never been found. And it is believed, or at least Cyril Bennett believes, that his wife knows where this money is. And Doris is sent to this spa to try and interview her and find out more. It sounds like a thrilling concept. Honestly, the narrative was kind of dull, but what made the episode interesting is Angie. Angie Pallucci is in this episode. I was so relieved when I started watching season 4 to learn that Angie was still in the show, because we had so many cast changes. It was nice to have a familiar face. And she's actually going through a difficult time because it seems like Louis has left her. And she's distraught, and I won't say exactly how it happens, but she ends up going to this spa with Doris, and I love that. I love what she brought to the episode. It's nice to see her in a different environment as well, because we're so used to just seeing her in the pizza restaurant. And it's nice to see her, or occasionally up in the apartment with Doris, but it's nice to see her involved in more of the narrative. I really thoroughly enjoyed that, and I just thought she was absolutely fantastic. I still don't like Cyril Bennett. Well, I say this. Previously, I've said I'm not sure how I feel about him. But I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm not really his fan. He comes across as very abrasive, very negative, and very unhelpful. But Doris gives as good as she gets. Doris constantly stands up to him. So it's almost like they're in a relationship and they can talk negatively to each other and it's water off of a duck's back because they actually care a lot about each other as colleagues. And I feel like that's what we're getting at. They're both very negative towards each other, but in a way that's because they're so comfortable with each other that they can be like that. That's what I'm guessing. I don't think he's nasty to Doris because he doesn't like her. But I still don't like his attitude. We'll see how his character develops as the season goes on, but he wasn't great in this. I did like what he brought to it, though, towards the end of the episode. So I did enjoy some of his presence, just not all of it. Nevertheless, A Weighty Problem is actually an interesting episode, not necessarily because of the narrative itself, but more so because of the fact that I thought Angie was just an absolute delight. So it's never going to be my favourite, but that being said, I ultimately enjoyed A Weighty Problem, and if you haven't seen it yet, if you're not this far into the Doris Day Show, I strongly recommend watching the show. It's fantastic. Season 4 has been the weakest so far, but it is early days. It's definitely early days, and I'm looking forward to finding out more. It may not be the strongest season, but I'm still really curious to see what's coming up next.